I'm 28 and 7 months pregnant with twins, boy and a girl. Ryan and I have been together for almost 3 years. We found out about the pregnancy about 2 months after the engagement, and yeah, it wasn't planned, but we were both excited. Or at least I thought we were both excited. Okay, so backing up a little because you need to understand how we got here. Ryan is 31, and we met through his cousin Tracy, who I'd been friends with since we worked together a few years back. Tracy was always talking about how her cousin was such a good guy, how he'd been through some stuff with his ex, but was ready to settle down with the right person. I wasn't really looking for anything serious at first, but Tracy kept pushing. And eventually, I agreed to meet him at this barbecue her parents were throwing. And honestly, he was great. Like, genuinely great. Attentive, funny, remembered little things I said weeks later. Always planning these thoughtful dates. His whole family welcomed me in immediately. His mom, Stella, would text me recipes. His dad, Richard, would ask my opinion on things like I actually mattered. His sister, Olivia, was a little colder, but Tracy told me that's just how she is with everyone, so I didn't take it personally. The ex-girlfriend thing came up pretty early. Her name is Camilla, and they were together for like 6 years before they broke up. Ryan told me it was mostly about wanting different things, that she had some health issues that made it impossible for her to have kids, and she'd become really focused on that, and it put too much pressure on the relationship. He said it was sad, but they'd ended on okay terms. He said they still talked sometimes because their families were close, but that it was nothing I needed to worry about. I believed him because why wouldn't I? I had no reason not to. Fast forward to finding out I was pregnant. Ryan cried actual tears when I showed him the test. His mom threw us this huge announcement party. Everyone was so happy. When we found out it was twins at the 12-week scan, Ryan was practically bouncing off the walls. Started talking about converting the spare room into a nursery, researching strollers, the whole thing. But then things started getting weird around month 4 or 5. It was small stuff at first. Ryan would be on his phone a lot, and when I'd walk into the room, he'd flip it over or put it away. He started having more work stuff come up on weekends. His family, who had been so involved in the beginning, started acting different around me. Like they'd be in the middle of a conversation when I walked in, and they'd all go quiet. Stella stopped texting me as much. Richard wouldn't quite meet my eyes. I kept telling myself I was being paranoid. Pregnancy hormones, you know? Everyone says you get weird and emotional and overthink everything. But then about a month ago, I overheard something that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. We were at Ryan's parents' house for Sunday dinner, and I'd gone upstairs to use the bathroom because the one downstairs was occupied. I was coming back down the stairs when I heard Ryan and his dad in the kitchen. Richard said something like, "Well, after the babies come, we can move forward with everything." And Ryan said, "Yeah, it's almost time. Camilla's been waiting so long and she deserves this." I froze on that staircase. They must have heard me or something, because they both went quiet. And when I came around the corner, they were just standing there looking at me with these weird expressions. Richard goes, "Oh, hey, sweetie, we were just talking about work stuff." And Ryan jumps in with, "Yeah, Dad's thinking about some changes at the business and it's boring stuff, don't worry about it." I just nodded and went back to the living room, but my mind was racing. Camilla's been waiting so long and she deserves this. What the hell does that mean? What does his ex-girlfriend have to do with anything after the babies come? I tried to bring it up with Ryan that night. I asked him straight up what he and his dad were talking about. What did Camilla have to do with anything? Why did he mention her name? And this is where it gets really messed up. He didn't even get defensive at first. He just got this look on his face like he was calculating something. Then he said I must have misheard, that he never mentioned Camilla, that they were talking about a camera, like a security camera system Richard was thinking about installing. He said I'd been mishearing and misremembering things a lot lately, and maybe I should talk to my doctor about it. Now, I need you all to understand something about me. I don't mishear things. I don't imagine conversations. I know what I heard. And the fact that he immediately tried to make me feel like I was losing it instead of just explaining what they were actually talking about, that told me everything I needed to know. But I didn't push it because I wanted to see what else I could figure out first. Over the next few weeks, I started paying closer attention. And the more I paid attention, the more things didn't add up. Like how his sister Olivia would watch me with this weird look whenever I talked about the nursery or baby names. Like she knew something I didn't, like she was waiting for something. Or how Tracy, my supposed friend who introduced us, suddenly got too busy to hang out every time I tried to make plans. This girl who used to text me constantly was suddenly taking days to respond with these short little messages. Or how Stella kept asking me weird questions about my family situation. My parents are both gone. Dad passed when I was 19 and Mom 3 years later. I have a half-sister, Rita, but we're not close, haven't talked in probably 2 years. Stella knew all this, but she kept bringing it up. She'd say things like, "It must be so hard not having your mother around during pregnancy," or "Do you ever think about reaching out to Rita?" And once she said something about how it's so sad that these babies won't really have grandparents on your side. At the time, I thought she was just being insensitive in that oblivious way some people are. Now, I think she was building a case. Like documenting that I'm isolated, that I don't have family support. But the thing that really made me start losing sleep happened about 2 weeks ago. Ryan had been in the shower and his phone buzzed on the nightstand. I wasn't going to look. I really wasn't. But it was face up and the notification just showed part of a message. It said, "Can't wait for our life to finally start," and the contact name was just a single letter, C. And I know that could be anyone. But combined with everything else, combined with hearing him say Camilla's name when he thought I wasn't listening, combined with his whole family acting weird and him trying to make me think I'm crazy, I still didn't confront him. I needed more. So I did something I'm not proud of, but I don't regret it. Last week, Ryan said he was going to help his dad with some stuff at their house. I said, okay, have fun. But I didn't stay home. I waited about 20 minutes, and then I drove to his parents' neighborhood, parked a few streets over, and walked to where I could see their driveway from behind some trees in a neighbor's yard. Ryan's car was there. His parents' cars were there. And there was a third car that I recognized because I'd seen it in pictures. It was Camilla's car. She was there, at his parents' house. While I sat at home, 7 months pregnant with his children, thinking he was just hanging out with his dad, I didn't go confront them. I wanted to. God, I wanted to storm in there and demand answers. But something told me I needed to know more before I showed my hand. So I went home and I cried, and I waited for him to come back. When he got home, I asked how things went with his dad. He said fine, just boring work stuff. I asked if anyone else was there. He said no, just him and his parents. Olivia stopped by for a bit. No mention of Camilla. He lied directly to my face while I'm carrying his children. So that brings us to today. What happened today that has me sitting in this parking lot losing my damn mind? I had a doctor's appointment this morning for a regular checkup. Everything is fine with the babies. They're growing well, I'm healthy, all good on that front. But when I got home, I noticed Ryan's laptop was open on the kitchen table. His email was open, and there was a thread at the top from a family law firm. The subject line was, custody consultation, next steps. The email was from some attorney thanking Ryan for the consultation and outlining some initial thoughts about his situation. It talked about establishing primary custody, mentioned something about documenting concerning behaviors and mental health concerns, and said they could discuss more detailed strategy at the next meeting. There was an attachment, but I couldn't open it. And then I heard his car pull into the driveway, so I just closed everything and went to the bathroom and pretended I was just getting home from my appointment. Ryan came in and he was cheerful, asking about the babies, asking if I'd eaten lunch, being all sweet and attentive like he hasn't been lying to my face for God knows how long. And I just stood there and smiled and said everything was fine while my entire world was crumbling. I need you all to understand what I think is happening here. I think Ryan has been planning to leave me after I give birth. I think he's been consulting lawyers about how to get custody of the twins. I think Camilla, the ex who can't have kids, has been part of this plan. I think his whole family knows and has been helping him. I think they're planning to take my babies. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to trust. Tracy was my friend and she set me up with him. His whole family has been in my life for 3 years. I don't have parents to call. My sister and I don't talk. I'm 7 months pregnant and completely alone, and the man I was supposed to marry is plotting against me. I can't go home right now. I can't look at him and pretend everything is fine. But I also can't let him know that I know, because if he realizes I'm onto him, he might accelerate whatever he's planning. I just need someone to tell me I'm not crazy, that what I'm seeing is actually there, that I'm not just being a paranoid pregnant woman like he wants me to believe. And I need advice. Legal advice, practical advice, any advice. Because I have 2 babies inside me who are depending on me to protect them. And right now I feel like I'm fighting a war I didn't even know I was in until I was already losing. I will update soon. I just need to be careful about when and how I access this account because I don't know if Ryan is monitoring my phone or computer. Edit. Some of you are asking why I don't just confront him directly. Right now he doesn't know that I know. He thinks his little, "you must have misheard" gaslighting is working. If I confront him, he'll deny everything, probably try harder to make me seem crazy, and worst of all, he'll know to hide things better. I need to understand what I'm actually dealing with before I show my hand. I'm not stupid. I know I need help. I just need to figure out what kind of help and from who. Some of you mentioned getting my own lawyer, and I think that has to be the first step. But I'm 7 months pregnant, I don't have family support, and I don't have a lot of money saved separately from our joint accounts. This isn't as simple as just leave him. I have to be strategic. First update. First things first. I did talk to a lawyer. Her name is not important, but she does family law, and she gave me a free 30-minute consultation over the phone while I was parked outside a grocery store because that's my life now. Making secret phone calls from parking lots like I'm in some kind of spy movie except the stakes are my actual children. The lawyer basically confirmed what a lot of you said in the comments. She told me that right now, before the babies are born, I have all the rights. They're inside my body. But once they're born, everything changes, and if Ryan has been working with attorneys to build some kind of case against me, then I need to be prepared. She asked me a bunch of questions about our living situation, whose name is on the lease, how our finances are set up, whether I have any history of mental health issues that could be used against me. And here's where I need to tell you something I didn't mention in my first post because I was embarrassed. About 2 years ago, before I got pregnant, I went through a really rough patch. I was dealing with some depression after my mom's death anniversary hit me hard, and I saw a therapist for a few months. Ryan knew about this. He was supportive at the time, encouraged me to go, said he was proud of me for taking care of myself. But now I'm thinking about how he knows this, and how that email from the lawyer mentioned mental health concerns, and how he keeps trying to make me think I'm mishearing things and forgetting things. And I'm wondering if he's planning to use my therapy against me, twist it into something it wasn't. The lawyer said that going to therapy doesn't make someone an unfit parent. that lots of people get help for depression and it shouldn't be used against them. But she also said that if Ryan has been documenting instances of me being confused or forgetful or emotional, and if he has his whole family ready to back up whatever story he's telling, it could be a problem. She told me I need to start keeping my own records. Dates, times, what was said, who was there. She said I should try to get my own copies of any important documents. And she said I should think about whether I have anywhere else I could go if things escalate. That last part made me want to cry because where would I go? My parents are dead. My sister Rita hasn't spoken to me in 2 years. I have friends, but nobody close enough that I could show up pregnant with twins and say, hey, can I crash here while I figure out if my fiancé is trying to steal my babies? So Ryan had been acting extra sweet since the day I found the lawyer email. Like suspiciously sweet. Bringing me breakfast in bed, rubbing my feet without me asking, talking about the babies constantly and how excited he was, and I just kept smiling and nodding while inside I was screaming because I knew it was all fake. But then his mom Stella called and invited us over for dinner. Just a casual family thing, she said. And Ryan was like, we should go. It'll be nice. You've been cooped up in the house too much. I didn't want to go. But I also thought maybe if I was there, around his family, I might be able to figure out more about what's really going on. So I said, sure, let's go. We got to his parents' house around 6. Stella hugged me at the door and asked how I was feeling, and I said fine. And she gave me this look, like she was studying me, like she was assessing something. But whatever. I smiled and walked past her into the living room where Richard was sitting. Richard stood up to greet us, and he was being all friendly. But there was something off about the energy in the room. Olivia was there too, sitting on the couch scrolling her phone, and she barely looked up when I came in. We sat down, and Stella brought out some appetizers, and everyone was making small talk about the weather and some show Richard was watching, and I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop because I knew something was coming. And then about 20 minutes in, Stella starts asking me these questions again. She wanted to know how I was sleeping. Was I getting enough rest? Had I been feeling anxious at all? Did I ever feel overwhelmed thinking about having twins? Was my doctor happy with how things were going? And the way she was asking wasn't like a concerned future grandmother. It was like a checklist. Like she was trying to get specific answers to specific questions. I played along at first. Said I was sleeping okay considering I have 2 humans doing gymnastics inside me at all hours. Said, yeah, of course I get anxious sometimes. Doesn't everyone before they become a parent? Said my doctor was happy with everything. But then she pushed it. She said something like, you know, it's totally normal to feel like you can't handle things sometimes, and there's no shame in admitting if you need help. And she's just worried because I seem tired lately, and maybe I should talk to someone about how I'm feeling. And that's when I lost it a little bit. I put down the cracker I was holding and I looked directly at her and I said, Stella, what exactly are you trying to ask me? Because it feels like you're fishing for something specific, and I'd rather you just come out and say it. Stella tried to recover. She said, oh honey, no, I'm just worried about you. Pregnancy is hard and I want to make sure you're okay. I didn't mean anything by it. But I wasn't done. I said you've been asking me questions like this for weeks. About my family, about whether I'm sleeping, about whether I feel overwhelmed. And honestly, it's starting to feel less like concern and more like something else. Ryan jumped in then. He put his hand on my arm and said, babe, come on, my mom is just trying to help. You're being a little paranoid, don't you think? Paranoid? He said I was being paranoid. In front of his whole family. While I'm sitting there pregnant with his children, questioning why his mother keeps interrogating me about my mental state. I shook his hand off my arm and I stood up. I said, I'm not being paranoid. I'm asking a direct question, and nobody in this room seems to want to give me a direct answer. And then Olivia, who had barely said 10 words to me all night, finally looked up from her phone. She goes, maybe we should just tell her. This is getting ridiculous. Ryan's head whipped around to look at her. He said, Olivia, don't. Tell me what? I said. And then Richard spoke up. He said, let's all just calm down. This isn't how we wanted this conversation to go. Isn't how you wanted it to go? I said. So there is a conversation you've all been planning to have with me? Ryan stood up too now. He was trying to guide me toward the door, saying, I think we should go home and talk about this privately. You're getting upset and that's not good for the babies. I yanked my arm away from him. I said, I'm not going anywhere until someone tells me what the hell is going on. Why was Camilla at this house last week when you told me you were alone with your dad? What does she have to do with anything? And why do you have emails from a custody lawyer on your laptop? Ryan's face did this thing where I could see him processing that I knew way more than he thought I did. He opened his mouth and closed it again. Stella stood up and started saying something about how there's been a misunderstanding and we all need to sit down and discuss this calmly. But I wasn't interested in calm. I was 7 months pregnant and I had just confirmed in front of his whole family that my fiancé had lied to me about his ex being at this house, and that he was talking to custody lawyers behind my back. I looked at Ryan and I said, I want you to explain right now. All of it. No more lies. I know Camilla was here. I know about the lawyer. I know something is going on, and I deserve to know what it is. And here's where things got really messed up. Ryan took a deep breath and he said, okay, fine. You want to know? I'll tell you. Yes, Camilla has been coming around. Yes, we've been talking, because I've been worried about you, about us, about whether you can handle this. I asked him what that was supposed to mean. He said, ever since you got pregnant, you've been different. You're suspicious all the time. You're constantly questioning everything I do. You think everyone is out to get you. And he's talked to Camilla about it because she knows him, she knows his family, and she's been helping him figure out what to do. I literally could not believe what I was hearing. He was making it sound like I was the problem. Like my suspicions were symptoms of something wrong with me instead of reactions to his actual lies. I told him that was insane, that I only became suspicious because he started acting suspicious. Because I heard him talking about Camilla with his dad. Because his whole family started treating me differently. Because he was lying to my face about where he was and who he was with. He said, see, this is what I'm talking about. You're turning normal conversations into conspiracy theories. You're following me around and spying on me. That's not healthy behavior. I followed him once, after months of lies, and he was making it sound like I was some kind of stalker. Stella tried to intervene again. She said maybe we should all take a breath. This is a lot of emotions for everyone. Maybe we should table this and come back to it when everyone has had time to think. But I needed to know about the lawyer. So I asked directly, why are you consulting with custody attorneys? Why did I see emails about documenting concerning behaviors and mental health concerns? Ryan ran his hand through his hair and he said, because I'm scared, okay? I'm scared that you're going to take my kids away from me. You've been acting so paranoid and suspicious, and I wanted to know what my rights were as a father. I wasn't planning anything against you. I was trying to protect myself. He was trying to flip the whole thing, make himself the victim, make me the one he needed protection from. And the worst part? Looking around that room at his family, they all believed him. Or at least they were all acting like they believed him. Stella had her hand on her chest looking at Ryan with sympathy. Richard was nodding along. Even Olivia, who had seemed like she was about to spill something earlier, was now just watching with her arms crossed. I asked about Camilla again. If all she was doing was helping you figure things out, why are you hiding it? Why lie about her being here? Why is she texting you about your life finally starting? Ryan looked genuinely surprised that I knew about the text. He asked how I saw that. I said it doesn't matter how I saw it. What did she mean? He said it wasn't what I was thinking. That Camilla has been through a lot. That she's been dealing with the fact that she can't have her own children, and she's been excited for him to become a father. That when she said our life was finally starting, she meant his life as a dad. That there's nothing romantic between them, that she's just a friend who's been supporting him through a difficult time. A difficult time, meaning me. Meaning his pregnant fiancé was somehow a difficult time he needed support from his ex-girlfriend to get through. I asked him if he really expected me to believe that. If he really thought I was stupid enough to think that his ex who can't have kids just happens to be super involved in his life. Right as he's about to have twins, and consulting lawyers about custody, and his whole family is asking me questions about my mental health. He said I was connecting dots that weren't there, that I was seeing patterns and coincidences, that maybe the reason everyone was worried about me was because I was acting exactly like this, making accusations based on nothing, getting worked up over innocent explanations. I turned to Stella. I said, do you really think I'm crazy? You've known me for 3 years. Have I ever once acted irrational or paranoid before this? And she paused, like she was thinking about how to answer. Then she said, honey, pregnancy can change people. Hormones can do things to the mind. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, but maybe you should consider that your perspective right now might be a little skewed. I looked at Richard. He wouldn't meet my eyes. I looked at Olivia. She was looking at the floor. I looked at Ryan. He was looking at me like he was waiting for me to agree with all of them. Like he expected me to suddenly say, oh, you're right, I am just being crazy. Sorry, everyone, let me just calm down. But I'm not crazy. And I'm not stupid, and I wasn't going to stand there and let them convince me that my valid concerns about my fiancé lying to me and meeting with his ex and consulting custody lawyers were just pregnancy hormones making me paranoid. So I said, fine. If nothing is going on, then prove it. Show me your phone. Let me read the conversations with Camilla. Let me see what you've actually been discussing with her. Ryan's jaw tightened. He said I wasn't going to go through his phone like some jealous teenager, that we were supposed to be adults who trusted each other, that if I couldn't trust him, then maybe we had bigger problems than anything he'd supposedly done. I said I did trust you. For almost 3 years, I trusted you completely. You're the one who broke that trust by lying and hiding things. So if you have nothing to hide, then show me. He didn't move. He didn't reach for his phone. He just stood there looking at me. And I knew. In that moment, I absolutely knew that there was more on that phone than he wanted me to see. Whatever he claimed about Camilla just being a supportive friend was complete crap, because if it was innocent, he would have shown me in a heartbeat. Stella said maybe this wasn't the right time for this conversation. Maybe we should all go home and sleep on it and talk again when everyone was calmer. I grabbed my purse and I said, fine, I'll go home. But Ryan, I want you to know that I'm not dropping this. I'm not going to pretend everything is fine when it clearly isn't. And I'm not going to let anyone convince me I'm crazy when I have evidence that you've been lying to me. I left. I walked out to my car and I sat there for probably 10 minutes before I could stop shaking enough to drive. Ryan didn't follow me right away. He came home about an hour later and tried to act like nothing had happened, asked if I wanted to watch something together, offered to make me tea. Like we hadn't just had a massive confrontation at his parents' house where his whole family essentially told me I was losing my mind. I said I was tired and went to bed early. I've been sleeping in the guest room for the past 3 nights. I told him my back hurts and I need the space to arrange pillows comfortably. He hasn't pushed it. But here's the thing that's been eating at me since that night. Olivia almost said something. Before Ryan shut her down, she said maybe we should just tell her. Which means there is something to tell. Something beyond Ryan's ridiculous explanation about Camilla just being a supportive friend. And I keep thinking about Tracy, my supposed friend who introduced us, who's been avoiding me for weeks now. Tracy is Olivia's cousin too. Tracy might know things. I've been trying to decide if I should reach out to Tracy directly, confront her about what's really going on, ask her what she knows. The lawyer told me to be careful about who I talk to. She said anything I say to anyone connected to him could end up being used against me. I don't know what to do next. I'm stuck in this house with a man I can no longer trust, surrounded by his family who thinks I'm crazy, 7 months pregnant with no family support of my own. The babies are due in about 8 weeks. 8 weeks to figure out how to protect myself and them from whatever Ryan has planned. Some of you asked if I've thought about just leaving, packing a bag and going. But where? To a shelter? At 7 months pregnant with twins? The lawyer said leaving the home could actually hurt me legally, make it look like I abandoned the situation. I'll update again when I have something new to report. Or when I finally lose my mind for real. You guys are literally the only people I can talk to about this. Edit. A lot of you are saying I should reach out to Tracy. I'm thinking about it. I really am. I just need to figure out how to do it in a way that doesn't tip off Ryan. She and I used to text constantly, but she's barely responded to anything in weeks. Maybe I'll try to run into her somewhere public, make it seem casual. See what she says when it's just the two of us face to face. Also, some of you asked about the text from C saying, can't wait for our life to finally start. Ryan's explanation that she just meant his life as a father is so weak. Who talks like that about someone else's life? That's something you say about a life you're going to be part of. I'm not buying it for a second. Second update. So after my last post, I decided I was done playing defense, done waiting for someone to slip up, done hoping Tracy would magically become my ally. I was going to get the truth directly from Ryan, even if I had to drag it out of him. I waited until we were both home on a Saturday afternoon. He was in the living room watching something on his laptop, and I walked in and I sat down across from him and I said, we need to talk. Not tomorrow. Not later. Right now. He tried to do the whole, oh, can this wait? I'm in the middle of something routine, but I shut that down immediately. I said, no, it cannot wait. I'm 8 months pregnant now. These babies are coming soon. And before they get here, I need to understand exactly what you've been planning with Camilla and your family. He started with the same script. Camilla is just a friend. His family is just concerned. I'm being paranoid. He's been trying to be patient with me, but I'm making it impossible. But I wasn't backing down this time. I told him I knew he was lying, that I'd known for weeks. That his story about Camilla just being supportive made zero sense when she was texting him about their life finally starting. That his explanation about consulting lawyers because he was scared I'd take the kids was complete crap. Because the email specifically mentioned documenting my concerning behaviors. That his whole family treating me like a mental patient wasn't coincidence. So either you tell me the truth right now or I'm walking out that door and you can explain to a judge why your fiancé left at 8 months pregnant. He said, fine. You want the truth? Here's the truth. Yes, I've been talking to Camilla about more than just friendly support. Yes, my family knows. Yes, there's been a plan. My whole body went cold, but I just sat there and let him keep talking. He said when I first got pregnant, he panicked. He wasn't ready to be a father. He and Camilla had stayed close after they broke up, and when he told her about the pregnancy, she was devastated. Not just for herself, but for him. They started talking more. About what he really wanted. About whether he was making a mistake. I asked him what kind of mistake. He said the mistake of building a life with the wrong person when the right person had been there all along. I literally could not believe the words coming out of his mouth. He was telling me to my face that his ex-girlfriend was the right person and I was the wrong one. While I was carrying his children, he kept going. He said Camilla always wanted kids and it destroyed her when she found out she couldn't have them. And now here he was about to have 2 kids with someone he wasn't even sure he wanted to be with long term. It felt like the universe was playing a cruel joke on both of them. I asked him directly, were you planning to take my babies and raise them with her? He didn't answer right away. He just looked at me. I said, answer me. He said it wasn't like that. He wasn't trying to steal them. He was trying to figure out the best situation for everyone, including me. He said maybe I'd be happier without the pressure of twins. Maybe I'd want to go back to my life without being tied down. He and Camilla could give those kids a stable home with 2 parents who actually wanted to be together. I asked him if he honestly thought I was going to hand over my children because it was more convenient for him and his ex. He said he didn't know. That's why they'd been talking to lawyers, to understand what the options were, what his rights were as a father. I asked about the mental health stuff, the questions from his mom, the comments about me being confused and paranoid. He admitted that the lawyer had suggested documenting any concerning behaviors, that if he wanted a shot at primary custody, he'd need evidence that I wasn't stable enough to be the primary caregiver. He said his mom was just trying to help gather information, so they had been building a case against me. All those questions about whether I was sleeping, whether I felt overwhelmed, whether I was anxious, all of it was ammunition. I asked him how long. How long had he been planning this? How long had he been lying to my face while playing the excited father-to-be? He said it started around month 4 when Camilla told him she still loved him, that everything before that had been real. He really had been excited about the babies. But then Camilla made him realize he'd been settling. That's what I was to him. Someone he settled for because his first choice couldn't give him what he wanted. I stood up and I told him I was done. That I was leaving and I was taking everything that belonged to me and I would figure out the legal stuff with my own lawyer. That he could tell his mother and his father and his sister and Camilla that their little plan was over because I wasn't going to let any of them near my children. He tried to say we should talk about this more. That I was being emotional. That he still wanted to be part of the baby's lives and we needed to figure out how to co-parent. I told him he should have thought about that before he spent months trying to make me look crazy so he could take my children and give them to his ex-girlfriend. Then I went to the bedroom and started packing. I'm staying with a coworker right now. She has a spare room and she offered when I told her what happened. It's not ideal, but it's better than staying in that house with him. My lawyer says I have a strong position. Ryan admitted to me directly that he was building a case to take custody by making me look unstable. That's not going to look good for him. I didn't record the conversation, but I wrote down everything he said immediately after with dates and details. The babies are due in about 5 weeks. I'm scared, but I'm also ready. These are my children. They grew inside my body. And no matter what Ryan and Camilla and his whole messed up family think, they're going to stay with their mother. I'm not crazy. I was never crazy. I was just a woman who trusted the wrong person. I'll post one more time when the babies are born, just so you all know we made it. Final update. I promised I'd update when they arrived, so here I am. My twins were born 3 weeks ago, a boy and a girl. They came a little early, but they're both healthy and perfect, and I cannot stop staring at them. I'm not going to share their names here because I want to keep some things private, but just know that they're named after my parents. It felt right. Ryan tried to show up at the hospital. I had already told the nurses he wasn't allowed in my room. He sat in the waiting area for 6 hours before security finally asked him to leave. My lawyer said I was within my rights to keep him out during the birth. We have a custody hearing scheduled for next month. My lawyer is confident. Ryan's admission about what he and his family were planning is going to be hard for him to explain away. He's been trying to text me constantly saying he made a mistake, and he wants to work things out, and he never meant for any of this to happen. I haven't responded to any of it. My sister Rita came to visit last week. First time we've talked in over 2 years. She saw my posts because apparently this whole thing went kind of viral and someone she knew sent it to her. She showed up at my door with diapers and formula and tears in her eyes. We talked for hours. About mom. About dad. About all the stupid reasons we stopped talking. She's coming back next weekend to help me with the babies. To everyone who followed this story and sent me messages, thank you. You guys helped save me. Now if you'll excuse me, I have 2 babies who need to be fed and I haven't slept more than 3 hours at a time in weeks. We made it.